where there's this small group of men up at the top who are having unbelievable access, and every one of them is on social media or fantastically rich or has an Emmy. And then there's a bunch of guys at the bottom who work either cashiers at Walmart or work at a drive-through and then take the weird cat selfies like you were saying before. One of the things that when I had Max on here, RSD Max, he was on, I was telling him the things that I felt like Pickup completely missed. And one of them was social media. I felt like they were way behind on that. There were a lot of guys who I felt like, hey, my clients are creepy and I don't want them on Instagram. That's what it felt like to me, right? And I was like, no, man, everyone has to be on here, because what happens is if this guy's got a 10% advantage over you, that 10% is now 10% to the nth power because of the scalability of social media. The #1 dating app in the world is Instagram. It's not Tinder, it's not Bumble, it's not Hinge, it's Instagram.
Instagram is basically your dating resume.
Yeah.
Right? It's gonna show off your lifestyle, it's gonna show off what type of guy you are. If you're out here taking blurry cat selfies, then she's gonna be like, who is this guy? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Whereas if you actually know how to take a good photo, which most guys have completely no idea how to do, and if you also kind of just understand how to portray yourself the right way, good style, good posing, a girl's gonna see your Instagram and say, okay, this guy is actually really cool. I do wanna hang out with him. So even if you go out and talk to a girl on the street or in the club or something, and then you give her your Instagram, she's gonna come back and follow you and be like, okay, this guy not only was cool in person, but he has a cool lifestyle. He seems cool here too, seems like a quality person. Let's go. So one of the first things we work on with guys is #1, let's completely revamp the dating profile. Because let's be honest here, 99% of the pictures are gonna be terrible. So we need to completely change all of those, change the bio, the prompts. And then they can use those photos for Instagram, start building that out, and then continuously just have that be a skill that they use in terms of photo taking and posing. So that way, once, twice a week, they're adding new stuff to the profile, they're building it out. And then when they do go talk to girls find it, they find their profiles from online, all that, and it just dramatically helps them level up in their dating game.
Do you teach anything about pre-selection?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Instagram stuff too is about pre-selection,
yes.
right? Like posting good stories, even like a fun story with some girls, things like that all plays into. And it's a lot of what I do on my Instagram too. Like my Instagram is for my business, but I'm always in there with different girls. I have videos of different girls, and same with you.
Yeah, #1, pre-selection is a proven psychological effect. Dr. David Buss calls it the mate copying strategy. It is not called pre-selection in psychology. There actually are other terms for it. But the idea of a male having more access to more females makes even more females want more access to him. But most of the time, you're going to have like a few males populate the entire population. So if you have 100 men and 100 women, it's only 20 of the men that will populate with all 100 women. And this is like, a lot of people don't realize that the majority of men who've ever been born on this planet died a virgin. They don't realize that there's a stratification where, this is funny, and tell me if you've had the same experience when I talk to guys. About 20-25% of guys who are like virgins late in life, like mid-20s all the way to 30s. And then we get into like up to the 60th percentile. I don't know if you know this, the average North American male has had 7 sexual partners in his whole life. 7. And then so now we're at the 60th percentile. And then once we get to the 80th percentile, the guy's been with 300 women. Once we get to the 90th percentile, he's been with like 1,000 women. It doesn't look like a line. It looks like a hockey stick where there's this small group of men up at the top who are having unbelievable access, and every one of them is on social media or fantastically rich or has an Emmy. And then there's a bunch of guys at the bottom who work either cashiers at Walmart or work at a drive-through and then take the weird cat selfies like you were saying before.
That's the thing, man. A lot of these sort of like average guys are getting lapped by the guys at the top.
Yes.
Because the guys at the top have all this stuff built out. They're already there. They're already making it happen. These guys, these other guys sort of in, that bottom 80%, they're just, oh, I'm trying to figure this out on my own. Well, one day, like I'll stumble across the girl who's going to be perfect for me. It's all going to work out. It's like, bro, it's not going to work out. Because guys like us are going to take her. Like we're going to meet her first. So you need to stop getting lapped. You need to find a mentor, or at least like put the time in to get this handled. Because if you don't, it's not just going to work itself out. You're going to get left behind.
There used to be a dating middle class, and there isn't anymore. There used to be the guy who lived in Des Moines who had a Mustang and a decent job, and he would date the pretty girl at the Hooters. The problem is the pretty girl at Hooters is now at Bilzerian's house. You know what I'm saying? He's now at the Playboy Mansion. He's now at the Maxim party.
She has access to all these higher level guys because of social media.
Correct.
And she's going to take advantage of that.
Yes.
And if you're just some nobody out here, like the Mustang in Des Moines, it's going to be a lot harder.
It's nearly impossible. Like you've seen the stats. Have you seen the Washington Post survey? It was like 28% of men. They showed 2007, and it's about 12%. And then it spikes up to 28% after 2007. The number of men who had 0 sexual partners since 2007, which was when we started putting social media on our iPhone. That was the same year that it started happening. And there's a correlation. There's a great book about this. It's called The Coddling of the American Mind, which talks about the incredible effects that happened on dating and just human behavior once we started putting social media on our phones. Is that something you've seen also? Like men not even be able to talk to women, and then also two things I found. Number one, social media causing men to not be able to look women in the eye and having normal conversations with women. And number two, men who had the advantage, the one who had the six-pack abs, the Lamborghini, and the mansion, now their advantage is a million times more than it was before.
Yeah, well, Instagram definitely leads to guys pedestalizing really hot women.
Yes.
And then like there is almost none of that like average like girl next door type of thing anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Like because most of these girls out there, if they're hot, they know they're hot. And a lot of times they're going to be taking advantage of it. So you need to be on your game. You need to be on your if you're going to attract those types of women. And if you're not, then good luck.
Yeah.
Right. And then when it comes to the guys, you know, who already have the built-in advantages, now they're building it out even more because it's like everyone can see it right away. You know, the Lamborghini isn't hidden away. Like the cool lifestyle isn't hidden away. It's right there in your face. Women can see it and they're going to want to be a part of it.
You know, another crazy part of pre-selection is some of the best good girls I've ever met got the master's degree, perfectly beautiful, former pageant model, you know, everything completely squared away. When I meet their husbands or boyfriends, these guys have like been with 500 women. Have you noticed that also? Like it's because they're guys who legitimately think I'm going to be the good guy throughout my life. And then I'm going to deserve this good girl. And whenever I meet these good girls, like totally squared away, the girl is like nothing. She's been with 2 dudes in her whole life, no tattoos, completely. And then you meet the guy she marries, and the guy's been with 500-600 women. I see this happen all the fucking time. It's this misconception, because you talked about this in one of your videos where guys are like, oh, I want to only talk to this perfect type of woman or set up my life for this perfect type of girl. And it's like, no, you need to have experience with lots of different types of girls.
Well, yeah, as a guy, you need to be going out there. You need to be dating different women, figuring out what you like and what you don't like, and building that sort of abundance mindset. Because if you're not, and you're like, oh, there's this one girl that I want, and like it's only going to be her. If you ever meet a girl like that, you're going to be super needy. You're going to ruin it, and the likelihood that you're even going to meet her in the first place is significantly lower. You need to be going out just dating a bunch of different women, you know, enjoying yourself, and then also learning the lessons from those experiences, getting better all the time.
Concept of a soulmate. I find it tends to be more women than men that believe in this, but have you had this issue before where you meet these guys who think that they deserve, like somehow this perfect partner is going to, they deserve it because their parents told them that they deserve it and they need to just wait and it's going to fall into their lap?
Well, it's super funny to me, man, because like as a guy who goes out there, does a lot of dating, like there might be 1 or 2 out of every 10 girls that I go out with where I'm like, okay, I could actually see maybe some type of a future with this girl. Mm-hmm. And then there's these guys out here who they're like, oh, this girl that I work with, she's my soulmate. Like I want to try to make it work with her. It's got to be her. It's like, bro, like you don't even know what you want yet. You have no idea kind of even what's going on here. And yeah, it's like the concept of a soulmate. It really comes down to you going out, taking action, meeting a lot of different women, actually figuring out what you like and don't like, because you're not just going to stumble into the perfect person. Even if you do, you're not going to know how to run that relationship if, you know, you're just waiting for it to come along.
You're not going to get that person because you deserve them. You're going to get that person because you earned them. You're going to get that, like, again, they're not going to be with you because you show your intent. They're going to be with you because you have some level of status or competency or something going for you. Otherwise, it's not really going to work out. I had a guy write me one time and he was like, Michael, I love your program, but the girls that you have on your program, they're just too fake and like they're not good girls, and so this would never work, and you should have more good. And so he sends me profiles of these 3 girls that were good girls, and they were like very, very model looking, skinny, whatever. And then he goes, these girls aren't like the other girls you showed. And it took me 5 seconds to find their fucking OnlyFans accounts. And the girls are getting railed by like 3 guys at the same time. And I send it back to the guy and I'm like, owned. Like, sorry, bro. Like, no, you're wrong. It's so funny when I see this. Like, there's these men that have this idealized view of what the world is going to be like, and it's just not that way. So while she's learning and I'm learning, let's get these reference experiences together, as many as we can, so that we know what we want later on.